Hello. Today I am here with Dr. Sara Hart. She's a lifelong advocate for social change and a truly inspirational and motivating speaker, and also the author of a book called Prime Spark. She's passionate about the idea of Prime Spark, and it has become a movement to change the way our culture sees and treats senior women. She founded Hartcom, which is a consulting company, over 20 years ago, focusing on leadership development, coaching, and team building. She also now coaches women who know things need to be different in our society and who value the support of a coach in a like-minded community. So, Sara, welcome today. I'm so happy to see you.
Diana, I'm very happy to be here with you.
Well, I'm honored. I have to just recount the first time I saw you was when you attended one of our early storytelling events. And I'm just thrilled and honored that you will be sharing your story here today because, like many of us, there are turning points in our life where we make a change as we start to view what I call third act. Other people call different things, but the point which we realize there must be something done differently, that we have something different inside calling us. So I'd love it if we don't do a little spoiler for the story you'll tell in October, but share with us a moment for potentially that you made a decision and made a change that has been a powerful decision in your life.
Oh, thank you, Diana. I won't talk about what I'm going to talk about in the story because I don't want to spoil it. But a huge change that I made in my life came several years before Prime Spark, and it was at a time I had been working for a very, very good company and had a very, very good job. I'd been there for 20 years. And I was starting to feel this is not right anymore. I need to do something else. It just didn't feel right anymore. And this was when I was about 50, which is very typical. And that was where I was. And so it took a long time, but I was one day coming down the escalator in the company and I felt like I had a wetsuit on. And I don't know anything more binding, more confining than a wetsuit if you're not in water. And I got scared. And I thought, I'm really not kidding myself. I really need to make a change. This is going to be serious. So I started trying to figure it out and finally did figure it out and figured out how to leave. At that point, people didn't leave good big companies. Right. So people thought I'd either been fired or I was having a nervous breakdown. And my friends are really concerned. But I knew I had to make a change. And so I made a plan. And in a handful of months, maybe 6 months, I had sold almost everything I owned. Sold my house, put what I had left in my car and drove from the East Coast to the West Coast because I decided I wanted to live in San Francisco. And I moved into a one-room apartment and people thought I'd gone crazy. People really thought I'd just lost it.
But you just had courage. You had courage to follow your heart.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember a time when I was happier than living in this one-room apartment in San Francisco. And it took me a while, but I realized I didn't want to work for somebody again. I wanted to work for myself. And so I started Hartcom. And at that point, it was before the .com era. So Hart is my last name, and com stood for communication, commitment, and community.
Yes.
And then when the .com era came in, it became Hartcom.com.
I love that. Well, I also love the coincidence of your name being Hart, the H-A-R-T, of course, but you certainly have followed your heart and you lead with heart. So it works. Your name works for you.
It works. Just another change. That is not my family name. But at some
Oh.
point I decided I didn't want my family's name anymore. And so I changed it to Hart.
Oh my gosh. Well, one of the things that I think is people struggle with, and the reason that your story and the other stories we'll share will be so inspiring, is that so many people reach a point in their lives where they know they're stuck. They know when they're in the wetsuit, but they don't have the courage to make a change until they know exactly or think they know how it will end. And so many people end up staying stuck instead. So how perfect that, you have found yourself in a role of inspiring and supporting women.
I had people say to me, Sarah, you need to stay here just 5 more years because you can take early retirement. And I said, if I stay here 5 more years, my soul will be a raisin, and it won't matter if I stay or leave. So
this is a sort of a sidebar question, but I ask your opinion of this because one of the things that it sounds a little strange, but one of the things that I think is a silver lining of the last few years we've had with most notably the pandemic, is a shift of perspective that you gained on your own. You gained this sort of like, this is my life. I've got to live it, in a different way than I am now. And I'm hoping that a lot more people will be, instead of thinking you're crazy and had a breakdown, will be like, of course, she's doing what she's supposed to be doing.
I think it's a bit more common now than it was when I did it, but it's a very scary thing to do. So considering doing that, it's not a slam dunk. I mean, if you've been, I had realized I had pretty much been taken care of my whole life. Mm-hmm. Family took care of me. I taught at university for a while. The university took care of me. I was in this big company. The company took care of me. I had been taken care of my whole entire life. And so to set all that aside is terrifying. And the only thing, honestly, this sounds so trite, but the only thing more terrifying was the thought of staying there.
So that's a big defining moment that certainly defined your life and has also shaped your purpose to help others. So tell us, without the whole backstory, because that will be your story, but tell us about Prime Spark. It's a book first, but it's now a movement. So tell us about it and what your vision is.
Yeah, my vision, Prime Spark, the name of the book is Prime Spark, Women Over 55, It's Our Time. And I believe that. It is our time. I mean, women in their 50s, 60s, 70s have 10, 20, 30, 40 more years to live. And this is our time. And it's time for us to step up into that time. And so my long-term vision is that Prime Spark becomes, certainly throughout the United States, with groups meeting everywhere and local leaders. I mean, I don't want to stay leading all of this. I want local leaders who are inspired by the whole message of Prime Spark to begin their own thing and make it their own thing in whatever way seems good for them, while still holding on to the very core of what Prime Spark means. So that's a very big image, but that's what I've got.
Well, and the backdrop, though, of course, I've read a little bit. I took a little preview today. I mean, the real root of a lot of the challenge right now in our culture, in companies, corporate culture, in society, mostly based on history and the way it's been perceived, older or senior women are not only mistreated, but disregarded in a lot of cases. Ageism is a topic on everyone's tongue. So the work that you're doing is instrumental in reframing that.
I hope so. I think ageism is just on the horizon. And I am particularly interested in gendered ageism. Mm-hmm. And it's not to say that men don't experience it also, but I think women experience ageism sooner and harsher because of a lot of reasons that I don't need to go into. But I am really interested in gendered ageism. And there's this big clump of women coming along who are going to be in their 50s, 60s, 70s. And we're not a group of women who are going to sit down.
Yeah.
It's time.
It's time. And what's so interesting too, it's not complaining. It's not but it's basically living our truth and who we are. And as you say, this is our time. Step into it, baby.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
it. So I'm excited for you to share more about the inspiration for Prime Spark and a little bit more about that. But I would love to know, I asked this question of each storyteller, and that is, if I were to ask you to design a bumper sticker or a plaque or something that would encapsulate the message or philosophy you'd want to share, what would it be?
Well, it's not original, but I really have in my mind, just do it.
Yes.
Whatever it is, don't wait, just do it.
Don't wait, just do it. I love that. And it embraces such energy. It's your spark of energy that comes through with that. So Nike, pardon me, but that's step aside. You've adopted that. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Sara. And I can't wait to see you and have you share your story in October.
Thank you, Diana. I'm excited about it.